You are now listening to Playbook Radio. Here is your host, Martin Williams.
And thank you for tuning in to Playbook Radio. My name is Martin Williams. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. We can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. All the links to the podcast can be found at Playbook, GamePlanPlaybook.com. That's GamePlanPlaybook.com. And today what I wanted to talk to you about is the next play mentality, right? In the world of sports, many players and coaches will tell you that you have to have a short memory. And what that means is that when you make a great play, don't get too high on yourself. But also, when you make a bad play, don't get too low on yourself either. And a lot of times what happens with athletes is that they have a string of bad plays and you can't get them to perform. You can't get them to get back to their elite level of play because they're so down about the bad plays that they made. They internalize those bad plays and now they believe that they're a bad player. And that's not the case at all in most cases. I believe that there's no such thing as a good player or a bad player. It's just how many good plays have you made? How many bad plays have you made? And you tend to get identified by how many good plays or bad plays that you made. But as a life athlete, you can't get caught up in that. Just like a professional athlete can't get caught up in it. You can't get caught up in it either. You have to have what's called a next play mentality. Okay. You have to take that next play mentality into your life. A bad play for a life athlete might be a mistake at work, or it might be a bill that you forgot to pay, or a bad date, or a negative diagnosis, or just something bad that's happened to you. Maybe maybe you've gotten off your diet or your exercise schedule. And so you went from having a bad play to being in a slump, and it feels like you can't do anything right. But even the best athletes, like I just said, they have bad plays that can turn into a string of bad plays if you don't take the next play mentality, which means you got to forget about those bad plays and you have to not internalize it. And just because you failed, it doesn't mean that you're a failure, right? You just have to say to yourself that, hey, I messed up. I made a bad play, but I'm going to make my next play my best play. I'm going to make the next play better than the play before, excuse me. I'm going to make tomorrow better than today. I'm going to make my next job performance better than my last job performance. And there's many times in my life where, I made a lot of bad plays. I made a lot of mistakes, but I took a next play mentality and I said, I'm going to make the next stop, the next thing that I do better than what I did before. And I improved. I got better. If you don't have a next play mentality, it's very easy to get into a slump. And not just athletes, but people, they can get into a slump where, maybe it lasts a day, maybe it lasts a week, maybe it lasts a month, maybe it lasts 6 months, maybe it lasts 6 years. If you're not careful, right? If you don't, internalize that failure mentality, if you can fail, but not have a failure mentality. It doesn't make you a failure just because you failed once or even failed a couple of times. What makes you a failure is how you think about yourself. And the way that you eliminate that or cut that off at the knees is to uproot that failure thought and say, I made a bad play and I'm letting it go. I made a mistake and I'm letting it go. I made a mistake at work and I'm letting it go, right? I made a mistake in my last relationship and I'm letting it go. I made a mistake in my eating habits and I'm letting that go. I'm going to eat better now. Right? I made a mistake in the way that I handle my finances. I'm letting it go. I'm going to handle them better now. Right? You got to have a next play mentality. You got to move on. Even when people around you are reminding you of how many times you messed up, how many times you fell short and got it wrong, you got to let it go. Consistently let it go. Because that's what top athletes do. Every top athlete you can possibly name, from Michael Jordan to the late Kobe Bryant to LeBron James, they've all made bad plays, right? But they're still considered great. Why? Because they moved on quickly. They moved to the next play quickly, right? And that's what you have to do. You have to let go of the bad experience. You got to let go of the bad play and tell yourself, I will be better. And even if it's not your fault, even if it's something that happened to you and it wasn't necessarily your mistake, you can still say that it will be better and go into it with a different mentality. And when you do that, you're going to see results. You're going to see things work out differently because your mentality is different. And mindset is everything. So thank you so much for listening. My name is Martin Williams. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to Playbook Radio. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast with family and friends. And if you're ready to take the next step in your personal development journey, consider trying Mental Recoding by Playbook Strategies. These short audios are designed to help you reprogram your thoughts around different life subjects, such as finances, health, work, relationships, and much more. Click the link below to explore mental recoding products to help reshape your mind.